We're announcing one of the largest transformations in the global automotive business.
Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, just made a shocking announcement about Ford dealerships. Every single Ford dealer is on the brink of closure, and Ford is just standing by, offering no support. The truth is, they are in a mess. So what happened exactly? And what does this mean for the consumers and the industry? Is this the start of a new era? Now, don't me wrong, this isn't the outcome Ford desires. They're simply adapting to a harsh reality. This is all about survival in a rapidly changing landscape. So what the heck is going on? Well, Ford Motor Company, a name synonymous with the automotive realm for over 100 years, is now facing staggering hurdles as the industry undergoes rapid changes. These issues are not just minor speed bumps. They are seriously affecting Ford's standing in the market and prompting the regrettable closure of numerous dealerships. So what's the strategy to turn this ship around? Currently, Ford must confront 4 critical questions that could define its trajectory. They are like challenges that they will need to solve. But before we dive into that, subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out. The sales crisis. So Ford is in a tough spot right now, facing a significant drop in sales that's sending shockwaves through the entire company. This isn't just a minor bump in the road, it's a wake-up call that's hard to ignore. You can almost see it happening. Loyal customers are starting to look elsewhere, exploring other brands that seem to fit their changing tastes better. As buyers become more particular about what they want, Ford is struggling to keep pace with these trends, and if they're not careful, they might just be left behind in the dust. So how bad is it really? Let's break down the numbers, shall we? Ford has been a cornerstone of American car culture for decades, but right now, its cars are not selling. You know what that means? Nobody wants them anymore. Not even the trucks. Those trucks have always been the heart and soul of Ford, the steady performers that kept the company afloat. Think about the figures from July 2024. Ford reported a drop of almost 3,500 vehicles compared to the same time last year. Ouch! And if that's not enough, over the first 7 months of 2024, Ford has seen a total sales decline of a staggering 19,000 vehicles. This isn't just a blip, that translates to a shocking 23% decrease in sales year to date. To put it simply, Ford's market share has plummeted to a meager 5.6%, down from 7.7% just a year ago, and even further from its pre-pandemic high of 10.2% back in July 2019. Meanwhile, competitors like Chevrolet and GMC are seizing the opportunity to capitalize on Ford's struggles, and the results are quite telling. While Ford is grappling with these declining sales numbers, the overall new car market is experiencing a nice little boost, up by 5.5% year over year. So what does this say? It suggests that consumers are discovering new brands that resonate more with their current needs and expectations. The pain doesn't stop at Ford's corporate headquarters. This experience is rippling out to dealerships across the country, and the situation is serious. Estimates for 2024 indicate that around 10% to 15% of Ford dealerships are in financial distress. That's roughly 300 to 450 out of about 3,000 dealerships nationwide that are on the edge of disaster. And it's not just a sales issue. The rising interest rates and increasing operational costs are making everything even more difficult. Experts predict that if the sales trend doesn't reverse soon, we could witness between 150 to 300 dealerships closing their doors in the next 1 to 2 years. This is a heavy blow, not just for those dealerships trying to keep their heads above water, but also for Ford's reputation and the trust that has bound them to their loyal customers for so long. To make matters worse, a recent survey reveals that a staggering 46% of Ford dealers have expressed a profound lack of trust in their franchise. What's at the heart of this distrust? Ongoing issues surrounding the transition to electric vehicles and concerns over profitability are huge red flags. This feeling isn't just a small hiccup, it signifies a deeper concern among dealers who feel sidelined as consumer preferences shift amid broader economic challenges. The struggles Ford faces extend well beyond corporate news. Specific models are bearing the brunt of the downturn too. Take the Ford Edge, for instance. It has seen an alarming 15% drop in sales. Why? Its higher price point, coupled with fierce competition from fuel-efficient alternatives like the Hyundai Santa Fe, is making it challenging to lure buyers in. Then there's the Ford Escape. Despite some recent updates, it suffered a 12% sales drop and is getting lost in a crowded field of compact SUVs, failing to stand out in any meaningful way. And don't forget about the iconic Ford Mustang. This legendary vehicle has experienced about a 10% fall in sales, particularly particularly in its premium trim levels, as more consumers shift their focus to the growing popularity of SUVs and electric vehicles. These challenges paint a clear picture. Ford needs to change tactics. They must pivot their strategies to address these dynamic market conditions and tackle the ongoing concerns from dealers if they want to reclaim their position in the competitive automotive landscape. The road ahead is anything but smooth, but Ford's legacy and the loyalty of its long-established customer base are on the line. The decisions made in the coming months and years are crucial to shaping the company's future. Will they rise to the occasion, or will they slide further down the slope? Only time will tell, so let's dive deep into the next piece of the puzzle. Greed versus brand. Have you noticed how car prices have been skyrocketing lately? It seems like every day there's a new headline about it. You're definitely not alone in feeling this way. This issue is heating up in a big way, making shoppers everywhere rethink their choices and raising eyebrows across the board. Let me hit you with some facts. According to the latest reports, the average transaction price for a Ford vehicle has soared to a staggering $48,000 as of 2023. That's not just a small bump, it represents a notable jump when you compare it to the industry average, which sits around $45,000. This surge in prices is really shaping consumers' decisions when they head to the dealership. Surprisingly, a whopping 60% of potential Ford buyers say they are actually willing to pay a premium for eco-friendlier options. Sounds great, right? But here's where things get a bit tricky. Many of these potential buyers think that Ford's electric vehicle lineup is hitting the wallet a little too hard when stacked against competitors like Tesla and Chevrolet. These rival brands have really upped their game, offering models that are much easier on the purse strings. Take the Chevy Bolt electric vehicle for instance. It starts at about $26,500, making it a way more manageable option for those of us keeping a close eye on our budgets. If Ford doesn't make some changes to their pricing strategy soon, they're at serious risk of losing market share to these more affordable alternatives. But wait, there's more. Ford's problems don't end with prices, they're also dealing with some quality control issues. It turns out they're not just producing pricey cars, but vehicles that often break down quite easily. Yup, issues surrounding quality have really rocked consumer confidence in the Ford brand. In the year 2023 alone, the company was forced to handle over 20 significant recalls, impacting hundreds of thousands of vehicles due to various concerns like engine failures and safety problems. And let's look at the numbers. They don't lie. According to the American Customer Satisfaction Index, Ford's satisfaction score was a pretty dismal 77 out of 100 in 2024. While that might show a slight improvement from previous years, it's still lagging way behind the industry giants like Toyota and Honda, which consistently score above 80. Adding fuel to the fire, surveys reveal that an alarming 46% of Ford dealers don't trust the franchise's ability to turn a profit in the future. Talk about a huge red flag. And that's not all. Ford's also grappling with significant technological hurdles. Don't get me wrong, the company has made noticeable strides in outfitting their vehicles with sleek infotainment systems and driver assistance technology. However, the flip side is that many consumers find these features overly complicated and downright confusing. A recent survey disclosed that an astonishing 42% of respondents felt completely overwhelmed by the tech in their cars, especially when it came to tackling user interface and connectivity concerns. This level of complexity can be a real turnoff for potential buyers who just want something straightforward and user-friendly. Let's not overlook the anxiety surrounding Ford's venture into the electric vehicle market either. With this new direction comes a new set of technological worries, including concerns about battery life and the number of available charging stations. A staggering 70% of consumers voiced uneasiness about whether they would be able to locate charging points during long road trips. That's a valid concern, one that could definitely make folks hesitate when considering a switch to electric. That's a lot to digest, isn't it? But the reality is that Ford has some serious work to do if they expect to win back the trust and confidence of their customers. From overpriced and unreliable vehicles to technology that leaves people scratching their heads, the brand has several major obstacles to tackle. But here's the thing, if anyone can bounce back from this, it's Ford. They've crafted iconic cars for generations, and I'm certain they have a few tricks hidden up their sleeves. They just need to fine-tune their strategies, but what are they doing instead? They appear to be diving headfirst into troubled waters, which leads me to the next reason why Ford is facing such a precarious situation right now, the next piece of the puzzle. Transition to EVs. Ford's electric vehicle division, known as Model E, is facing some serious struggles right now. If you're paying attention, you'll want to brace yourself for the shocking numbers we are about to dive into. They truly are eye-popping. First up, let's talk money. In 2023, Model E reported a jaw-dropping loss of $4.7 billion in earnings before interest and taxes, which is often referred to as EBIT. This staggering figure comes from the sale of only 116,000 electric vehicles. Let that sink in for a second. That means they lost an average of $40,525 on every single electric car that rolled out of their dealership. That's not just a little setback, that's a serious financial blow, and hold on to your hats, because it gets worse. As early 2024 rolled around, those losses continued to spiral downward, reaching an astounding $1.3 billion in just the first quarter. That's a loss of $132,000 for each of the 10,000 electric vehicles they managed to sell in that time period. A staggering 20% decline in sales volume compared to the same quarter the previous year. To really illustrate the gravity of the situation, revenues plummeted by a shocking 84%, settling at just $100 million. This entire mess can largely be tied to widespread price cuts across the industry as brands desperately tried to remain competitive. But that's not all. Analysts are sounding alarms that these annual losses could potentially double by the end of the year. Yikes, Ford is certainly in a rough spot. Now, let's get real for a moment. Even though the United States has made impressive progress by establishing over 150,000 public charging stations, the ease of access still leaves a lot to be desired. Many consumers are grappling with concerns about range anxiety, which is the fear of running out of battery before reaching a charging point. This is a major hurdle that Ford must confront directly. So what's the answer? They need to create partnerships with charging network providers and pour significant resources into infrastructure development. This is vital for easing consumer worries and fostering confidence in the shift to electric vehicles. I know this is a lot to digest, but when you piece all this information together, it's evident that Ford is truly at a crossroads as they maneuver through this challenging transition to electric vehicles. So let's dive into the last part of this challenge that need to face: the stiff competition in the electric vehicle market, thanks to one especially significant factor: the EV price war. The electric vehicle price war is not just heating up, it's transforming the entire automotive industry's landscape right before our eyes. This robust competition has morphed into an all-out scramble among manufacturers who are desperate to capture a larger share of the booming EV market. It all began when major players like Tesla and BYD started slashing their prices dramatically, their main goal to attract more buyers while fending off the competition. Now, Ford and other brands feel the pressure to follow suit. These initial price cuts marked the start of this fierce war. Tesla really took it to another level with their aggressive pricing strategies, which drastically reduced the cost of their entire lineup. With this move, Tesla aimed not only to secure its dominance as the market leader, but also to make its vehicles accessible to a broader audience. They recognized a major shift. Buyers are increasingly hunting for affordable options that deliver tremendous value in the rapidly growing electric vehicle market. But the plot thickens. Chinese manufacturers have now entered the fray, shaking things up with their competitive pricing strategies. Companies like BYD and MG have significantly reduced prices, offering some models for less than $35,000. This clever strategy helps these manufacturers broaden their international reach while tackling domestic challenges like overcapacity. They know that to make a splash on the global scene, their cars have to be irresistibly affordable. So what's the current market situation? Well, there's a larger trend starting to emerge. Consumer demand for electric vehicles appears to be softening. This shift is prompting automakers to shift gears by offering prices that are more competitive than ever before. Analysts caution that while these cuts might provide a temporary boost in sales, they might pose significant long-term challenges for profit margins across the board. It's definitely a delicate balancing act. Let's circle back to Ford and unpack how they're reacting to this escalating price-cutting frenzy. In response to the changing landscape of competition, Ford has stepped up to the plate by announcing substantial price reductions on its Mustang Mach-E models. That's right, we're talking about cuts of up to $8,100 across selected trims. This bold strategy aims to make their vehicles more appealing to cost-conscious consumers and to ensure that Ford stays a strong contender against Tesla and the rising wave of Chinese brands in the marketplace. However, it's more than just about increasing sales. Ford is seeking that sweet spot between boosting sales and maintaining profitability. They know that to keep their their market share stable in such fierce competition, adapting to consumer desires is crucial, especially when it comes to lower-priced options. However, while these price reductions could pull in potential buyers, they still raise essential questions about how this approach will play out in terms of profit margins for the long haul. It's not just a simple picture for Ford. Rising production costs and tangled supply chain issues add extra layers of complexity to their financial outlook as they work to implement this aggressive pricing strategy. To sweeten the deal for buyers, Ford isn't merely slashing prices, they're rolling out a range of enticing incentives as well. Think about things like leasing cash credits and federal tax credits designed to make ownership of an electric vehicle much more enticing. This strategy underscores Ford's shrewd understanding of shifting consumer priorities, where economic feasibility is gaining critical importance. As this electric vehicle price war continues to unfold, we find ourselves in the midst of a critical moment for automakers like Ford. They are tasked with the ongoing challenge of adjusting their strategies to thrive in this crowded marketplace, and that is exactly what they have set out to do. What's on the horizon for them? Let's dive into their strategic plans now. Back to the drawing board. Ford is facing a monumental challenge, yet they're not backing down. In fact, they've set an ambitious goal for themselves. By the end of this decade, every vehicle in their Ford Blue lineup is expected to come with a hybrid option available throughout North America. Why is this such a big deal? It's not just about offering more choices to consumers. It's a strategic move aimed at easing the transition from traditional gas guzzlers to the promising world of fully electric vehicles. Ford is clearly jumping onto the eco-conscious driving trend, and they're making sure to cater to those customers who might not yet be ready to fully embrace electrification. Excitingly, they recently announced plans for a whole new range of electrified three-row SUVs loaded with advanced hybrid technology. These vehicles are not just going to turn heads with their sleek designs, they are engineered to enhance both efficiency and performance, while drastically reducing the emissions associated with conventional gasoline-powered cars. However, it's not all smooth sailing. High production costs and rapidly changing market conditions have prompted Ford to reevaluate their strategies. To give you an idea of the scale, the cost of batteries can account for an astonishing 40 to 45% of an electric vehicle's total price. This stark reality makes hybrids look increasingly attractive, especially as consumer demand shifts toward larger SUV models. And Ford isn't alone in this automotive wave. The entire industry is adjusting course. Just look at General Motors, which is also gearing up to introduce hybrid versions of some of its most popular models. This environment is teeming with competition, as major manufacturers recognize the growing appetite for hybrid vehicles. A critical point to note is how this hybrid strategy aligns perfectly with Ford's strengths. They have the manufacturing capabilities needed to ramp up production without requiring a complete overhaul of their existing processes. This adaptable strategy means they can smoothly transition into a fully electric future as technology progresses and consumer interest in electrification builds. So, might this hybrid pivot be the key ingredient that helps Ford secure its spot in an ever-evolving automotive landscape? What do you think about this strategy? Are they making the right moves? As we dive into the future, we must consider that even this hybrid shift may not resolve all of the industry's challenges. There are complexities that need to be addressed, and the journey ahead will be crucial for Ford and others as they shape the next generation of vehicles. But right now, Ford has a bigger issue to worry about: fight against dealers. The relationship dynamics between Ford and its dealerships have become incredibly turbulent, creating an experience that feels like a roller coaster ride. Friction is bubbling on multiple fronts, combining operational headaches with the whirlwind of market changes that keep all parties on their toes. One of the pressing challenges Ford faces is effectively marketing and selling its electric vehicle lineup, particularly the much anticipated F-150 Lightning. You'd think that such a stylish truck would be flying off dealer lots, right? Well, hold that thought. The reality tells a different story altogether. Dealers are finding it tough to create genuine excitement and demand among potential buyers. You may wonder what's behind this struggle. A significant reason is customer skepticism about the charging infrastructure. Many people are questioning whether electric vehicles can meet their practical needs. Imagine this. One dealer candidly admitted that despite the Lightning's stunning design, selling these trucks has been more challenging than expected. Due to this slow sales pace, Ford has been compelled compelled to cut back production shifts for the Lightning. The weight of added pressure is palpable for dealerships that are already managing multiple responsibilities. But this tension doesn't end there. Ford's relationship with its dealers is under serious strain, especially regarding service and warranty fulfillment. Customer frustration is mounting, and the voices of discontent are growing louder. Complaints about poor communication and a lack of support at dealerships are becoming increasingly frequent. Some dealers aren't delivering the level of service that customers have come to expect from the Ford brand, and this could severely damage Ford's reputation over time. As these dealerships strive to market new electric vehicles amidst these hurdles, there's a noticeable disconnect between Ford's corporate strategies and the realities faced on the ground. It's not just about pitching shiny new electric trucks. There's a complicated web of logistical challenges that both Ford and its dealers are trying to navigate. This situation includes everything from spurring customer enthusiasm for electric vehicles to ensuring a hassle-free service experience. With the industry evolving at such a rapid pace, balancing these factors has become increasingly tricky for everyone involved. Picture yourself inside a dealership. You're juggling inventory, scrambling to meet customer expectations, and trying to implement the latest directives from Ford, all while facing skeptical customers who are not fully convinced about the practicality of electric trucks. It's no wonder that the relationship between Ford and its dealers feels precarious. In response to the evolving electric vehicle landscape, Ford is making a bold shift toward a direct-to-consumer sales model. The goal? To streamline the sales process, decrease reliance on traditional dealerships, and engage customers more directly, with plans to expand its electric vehicle offerings, which will include budget-friendly options alongside advanced commercial vehicles. This transition is absolutely critical. Ford isn't taking this lightly. They are enhancing their online sales channels and improving their digital presence. This initiative could lead to enhanced pricing control and a significantly better shopping experience for customers in the electric vehicle segment. Imagine a scenario where you can browse, customize, and complete your electric vehicle purchase all from the comfort of your home. No more negotiating with aggressive salespeople or wasting precious hours at a dealership. Exciting, right? However, the direct-to-consumer model has caused considerable concern among dealerships. Many dealers are understandably anxious about what their roles will look like moving forward. They are worried about how this monumental shift might affect their revenue. A prevalent fear is that if they are sidelined from the sales equation, their entire business model could be at risk, especially considering the heavy investments they've made in showrooms and customer service. And here is the thing. Now, dealers are contemplating how their relationships with Ford might evolve. If they begin to feel that their grip on pricing and inventory management is slipping, it adds another layer of complexity to an already intricate situation. But what's your thoughts on this? Let's know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.